On 6 July 1945. Dawn breaks over Potsdam, and Harry Truman stands alone, holding a folded briefing, feeling the weight of a world at war. Truman had been president for only weeks. His glasses fogged in the morning air. The war map still unfamiliar. And decisions suddenly final. Across Europe, the guns have fallen silent. Cities lie broken and hollow. Millions are displaced and grieving, and another war still burns in the Pacific. In that quiet German palace, Truman thinks of soldiers at sea, families waiting at kitchen tables, and an enemy that refuses surrender, calculating lives like numbers. He fingers the edge of the paper, recalling his simple Missouri upbringing, never imagining this hour, when science and morality collide beneath his signature. The briefing speaks in careful language of a weapon born in deserts and laboratories, tested in secrecy, promising an end, or an abyss. Just days earlier, on 16 July 1945, a fireball rose in New Mexico. Unseen by the world, yet now pressing against Truman's chest. Outside, Stalin watches with practiced calm. Churchill waits with imperial certainty. Alliances strain beneath smiles, history tightening its grip. Truman exhales slowly, folds the page once more, and steps toward a decision, knowing the war's ending will define every life after. This moment at Potsdam is small, human, yet it carries continents within it. The future trembles between hope and annihilation as the day begins. On 19 December 1944. The snow thickens around Bastogne, as Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe wakes before dawn, listening to distant artillery. He pulls on his coat, scans maps lit by lantern glow, and thinks of young soldiers, freezing in foxholes. Outside the town, German armor presses from every road, and the world watches, another winter of war unfolding. McAuliffe knows supply lines are cut. Ammunition runs thin by the hour, and evacuation is no longer possible. This frozen crossroads in Belgium matters, because holding it delays enemy plans and buys time for an entire front. Across oceans, leaders calculate offensives. Civilians ration and pray at home. And fate narrows toward this town. German envoys soon approach, bearing demands, promising survival if Americans surrender, and destruction if they refuse. McAuliffe listens in silence, feeling anger mix with resolve, sensing history, asking a simple question. The answer forming in his mind is brief, unpolished, and human, shaped by exhaustion and defiance. As snow keeps falling, the war holds its breath. Bastogne waits for dawn, and an American refusal begins. Inside cellars, medics work by candlelight. Wounded men whisper names of home, and engines rumble beyond the trees. Every choice made here will echo outward, through command rooms and kitchens, alike, touching lives yet unseen. On 22 December 1944. Morning light creeps through Bastogne's shattered streets, as McAuliffe reads the German surrender demand again. The paper is stiff with cold, words formal and threatening, promising annihilation if resistance continues another day. Around him, officers wait quietly, boots wet, faces hollow, breath fogging the air between them. McAuliffe feels irritation more than fear, a flash of disbelief that surrender is even spoken aloud. He thinks of paratroopers holding roadblocks, cooks firing rifles, medics sleeping beside the wounded. The enemy believes encirclement means defeat, yet misses something deeper, stubbornness and American resolve. McAuliffe looks up, half smiles, and mutters a single word, born of exhaustion and determination. "Nuts," he says softly, a soldier's answer, stripped of ceremony and doubt. The room pauses, then laughter breaks through tension, relief mixing with shared defiance. That word is typed, translated awkwardly, and carried back through snow and shellfire. German officers read it with confusion, unsure if it is insult or code. Meanwhile, artillery pounds the perimeter. Tanks probe defenses, and wounded men cling to warmth. Above the clouds, Allied aircraft wait, grounded by weather, fuel and hope delayed. Bastogne bleeds quietly, hour by hour, as food dwindles and ammunition counts fall. Yet morale hardens. Because surrender is no longer abstract, it has been rejected outright. Across the front, the refusal spreads. Commanders listen closely, and time begins to shift. Inside Bastogne, snow keeps falling. Guns keep firing, and the town refuses to break. On 23 December 1944, the sky above Bastogne finally clears, revealing pale blue after days of steel gray. Men look upward from frozen trenches, eyes burning with hope. Hands numb around rifles and faith. Allied aircraft appear like ghosts, engines droning softly, breaking the siege from above at last. Parachutes bloom open, white and red against the snow, carrying ammunition, food, and survival itself. Soldiers cheer weakly. Some cry openly, others simply sit back and breathe. Yet the relief is fragile, because German guns still ring the town, and tanks still lurk beyond the trees. McAuliffe watches supplies land unevenly, some drifting into enemy lines, some shattering on rooftops. Every crate matters now. Every bullet, every bandage, measured against another night alive. The Germans respond with fury, increasing bombardment. Testing lines weakened by cold and hunger. At the perimeter, paratroopers fire until barrels smoke, moving wounded men with bare hands. Inside field hospitals, surgeons work non-stop. Blood freezing on floors, prayers whispered between screams. Radio messages crackle outward, reporting survival, not victory. Endurance, not glory. Across Europe, commanders take note, the stand at Bastogne slowing the German advance. This town becomes more than a crossroads, it becomes a symbol forming in real time. For the men inside, symbols mean little. Survival is counted in minutes and warmth. Yet each hour held here reshapes the wider battle, bending plans and expectations. As night falls on 23 December 1944, Bastogne still stands. The refusal continues, written now in frost, blood, and unbroken resolve. On 24 December 1944, Christmas Eve settles over Bastogne. Silent and cruel, as artillery replaces church bells. Snow reflects burning flares. Shadows dance across ruins, and soldiers think of home with aching clarity. McAuliffe walks the lines briefly, offering few words. Knowing presence matters more than speeches. Men share rations meant for one. Tear letters into pockets, and joke softly to stay human. German forces launch renewed assaults. Infantry probing weak points. Armor grinding forward through ice. At the outskirts, foxholes collapse under explosions. Bodies disappear beneath drifting snow. Radio operators relay urgent calls, voices strained. Coordinates shouted, batteries failing in the cold. Each defensive stand buys minutes, then seconds, then another chance to hold. Beyond Bastogne, General Patton's Third Army turns north, engines roaring. Racing winter roads. Maps are redrawn at speed. Risks accepted, fuel burned recklessly. Lives wagered on timing. Inside the town, men do not know this yet, they only feel pressure increasing. Medics run out of morphine, using whiskey instead. Gripping hands as pain takes over. German loudspeakers broadcast surrender offers again. Words swallowed by wind and gunfire. No one answers them, because the answer was already given days before. Christmas passes unnoticed, marked only by a lull, then another violent barrage. The ground shakes constantly. Buildings crumble further, and the perimeter tightens dangerously. Still, the line holds, uneven and bleeding, but alive and defiant. As midnight passes on 25 December 1944, Bastogne waits, unaware relief is moving closer. On 26 December 1944, morning mist lifts slowly from the Ardennes. As distant engine noise reaches Bastogne. At first it sounds like imagination. Another cruel trick of exhaustion carried by cold air. Then scouts report movement, American tanks pushing through broken roads. Flags visible through smoke. Patton's lead elements arrive cautiously, firing as they advance, cutting a narrow corridor of life. Inside Bastogne, Cheers erupt, uncontrolled, raw. Men embracing despite shelling. The siege is broken, not ended, because fighting still rages along the road. McAuliffe steps forward to greet the armor, relief visible but restrained. Duty not finished. Wounded soldiers are evacuated slowly. Stretchers slipping on ice, medics refusing rest. Supplies pour in, ammunition stacked hurriedly. Food consumed without ceremony or taste. German forces fall back reluctantly, still dangerous, still firing as they withdraw. The town bears deep scars now, buildings hollowed. Streets cratered, trees shattered like glass. For the men who held it, Bastogne becomes memory instantly, not triumph. They think of friends buried nearby. Of cold nights survived, of chances narrowly missed. Across the front, the German offensive loses momentum. Its gamble failing visibly. As daylight fades on, 26 December, 1944. Fighting continues beyond the town. The Americans did not retreat, and the cost of that choice is now clear. On 27 December, 1944, the cold remains unforgiving. Even as pressure eases around Bastogne, German artillery still fires. Sporadically, reminders that survival does not equal safety. American units expand the corridor carefully, clearing woods, securing villages inch by inch. Men who endured the siege are pulled back slowly, legs stiff, faces hollow, eyes older. McAuliffe receives briefings in damaged buildings, listening more than speaking, absorbing casualty lists. Relief brings exhaustion crashing down, bodies finally allowing pain to surface. Some soldiers sleep for hours without moving. Others cannot sleep at all. Letters are written hastily, hands shaking. Words failing to explain what happened here. Patton's forces push outward, turning defense into offense. Momentum shifting across the front. German units retreat into forests. Disciplined but battered, winter biting both sides equally. The snow hides graves hastily marked, names penciled on scraps of wood. In Bastogne, civilians emerge cautiously. Faces lined with shock, homes reduced to rubble. The town smells of smoke, fuel, blood, and wet wool, a battlefield made permanent. High command begins to speak of Bastogne as legend. A turning point forming in hindsight. For those who fought here, legend feels distant, unreal, almost insulting. They remember hunger, frostbite, fear, and the sound of shells at night. Yet their refusal to retreat has changed the shape of the battle. As evening falls on 27 December, 1944, the front stabilizes, and the war moves on. On 30 December, 1944, the Ardennes battlefield stretches wide. Scarred and exhausted, yet no longer uncertain. American forces push steadily eastward, reclaiming ground lost days earlier. Confidence returning slowly. Bastogne sits behind the lines now, its role finished, its wounds still open. Units rotate through the town, stepping carefully around rubble, reading messages scrawled on walls. Some stop at makeshift graves, helmets resting on crosses. Silence heavier than words. McAuliffe prepares to leave, his task complete. Command shifting as the war demands motion. He speaks briefly to officers, emphasizing discipline, humility, and readiness for what comes next. The men nod, understanding survival does not guarantee peace or rest. German forces consolidate defenses deeper inside Belgium. The offensive officially losing its edge. Air power dominates the skies again, striking columns, bridges, and retreat routes. The refusal at Bastogne now echoes through planning rooms, cited as proof of resilience. Yet resilience carries cost, and hospitals remain full, transport overwhelmed. Soldiers write home cautiously, avoiding detail, protecting families from the truth. Civilians begin counting losses, rebuilding slowly amid cold and debris. The town's name spreads through newspapers, stripped of mud and blood. Those who were there feel distant from the stories, remembering only endurance. Winter tightens again, reminding everyone the war is not finished. As darkness settles on 30 December, 1944, The front hardens, and the next phase begins. On 31 December 1944. Bastogne is quiet, deceptively so. As the new year approaches across Europe, snow blankets shattered streets, muffling the echo of past shelling. Yet the memory of fighting lingers like smoke. Soldiers walk carefully through mud and ice, some carrying rifles, others carrying the weight of lost comrades. McAuliffe oversees final rotations, checking positions, ensuring supply lines remain intact. Every detail scrutinized. The town feels hollow, alive only in the small acts of survival, fires burning low, bread rationed sparingly. Reports arrive from the front lines, detailing retreating German forces, disorganized yet still dangerous. Every hour of delay at Bastogne ripples outward, affecting strategy, morale, and the broader war effort. Letters are sent home, cautiously optimistic, but they cannot capture the night spent frozen in foxholes. Veterans speak quietly among themselves, sharing fragmented memories, humor sharpening edges dulled by fear. Medical teams continue working tirelessly, cleaning wounds, stitching frostbitten fingers, comforting men in ways words cannot. Even as celebrations occur elsewhere, Bastogne marks time differently, measured by artillery, rations, and survival. McAuliffe pauses at dusk, watching smoke curl from chimneys, realizing that decisions made here will be remembered. The world outside moves toward fireworks and resolutions, while here, the cost of defiance remains visible in every corner. The refusal to retreat at Bastogne is no longer a story, it is a lived reality, etched in snow, blood, and determination. As night falls on 31 December 1944, the town rests uneasily, awaiting the dawn of a new year. History will call this moment legend, but the men know it was simply survival, choice, and stubborn courage. On 1 January 1945, a fragile calm settles over Bastogne, as frost glints off shattered rooftops and twisted metal. The siege is over, yet its echoes remain in every foxhole, every scarred street, every soldier's worn boots. McAuliffe walks slowly through the town, pausing at makeshift memorials, names scribbled on wood, eyes damp with memory. Men sip thin coffee, write letters, and quietly process what it means to have refused, to have survived against impossible odds. Outside, Patton's Third Army continues pushing forward. Momentum restored, the Ardennes slowly returning to Allied hands. The Germans retreat, reorganizing, their offensive failing, but the winter war is far from finished. Bastogne has become more than a town, it is a testament, a symbol of resilience, defiance, and collective courage. Every shell crater, collapsed roof, and frozen grave tells the story the history books will later condense. Inside the town, laughter slowly returns, tentative and fragile, punctuated by stories shared among friends who endured together. Supplies are distributed, medical stations emptied. Yet the memory of frostbite, hunger, and relentless shelling lingers. High Command writes dispatches praising the stand. Headlines will immortalize a single word, nuts, echoing through newspapers worldwide. Yet for the men of Bastogne, that word belonged to everyone. Each soldier who held the line, each body frozen but unbowed. The refusal to retreat has altered the course of the Battle of the Bulge, delaying the enemy and saving thousands of lives. History will remember the town, but those who lived it know it as pain, fear, endurance, and unshakable resolve. As the sun sets on 1 January 1945, Bastogne breathes quietly, the war moving onward, forever marked by the courage of a few who refused to yield.